Hi everyone, my name's Lesley Oman from hungryheffycrafts.com. This is part 2 of a tutorial which shows you how to make this tea gift book. Part 1 shows you how to make the pages and the spine. So for this second part I want to show you how to make the cover and assemble the book together. So like I say, part 1 has already got the pages like this and a spine which is a concertina. And I've already punched holes into the spine. Now I did that with my crocodile, and now I'm going to show you how to make the cover. So I'm measuring the pages, the height and the width, and I'm going to cut two pieces of this chipboard, which is just slightly bigger than the size of my book. And I'm actually using some cardstock just for the purpose of this video. So I've got one which will act as the front cover like this, one will go on the back like this, and we also need a third piece of the chipboard which will act as the spine. Now whenever you want to decide what depth this is, you want to measure with all your pages already in there, because we don't want to make it too narrow, otherwise the book won't sit perfectly together. So in order to assemble this, I'm laying down the cardstock here, and we're going to cover it very similarly to what we would cover a book in school. So I'm using some 8x8 papers, which is the same paper pack, from the same paper pack as the pages that I've made for the inside. And the first thing I'm going to need to do is stick two of them together. So I'm just using some thin double-sided sticky tape. Now this will mean that there will be, you will see where the two pages are joined together. So if you want, you can use a larger piece of paper, or perhaps you'd even want to use some gift wrap, or something which comes in, some sort of paper that comes in a larger roll. But to be honest, I don't think that it makes much of a difference, because where the two pages meet will be on the spine, and we'll be decorating that anyway. So now that the two pieces of paper are together, I'm going to lay down the three pieces of cardstock. Now like I say, I'm using cardstock, but it's best to use chipboard. So we'll want to stick these down. You can use double-sided sticky tape or a wet glue. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to use just a glue roller, so that I can show you quickly how to assemble this. So put the middle one down first of all, and then line up your ruler with the bottom edge, so you can make sure that when you stick the other two edges that they are even, and that they're lined up properly. Now the third one. Now you'll notice that I'm not butting the edges up against one another. I'm leaving a small gap in between. Now I've actually trimmed down just to leave a 1-inch border, and I've creased along the outside and prepared this with some double-sided sticky tape all along the cardboard pieces. Once again, I recommend that you actually use wet glue, but this will show you quickly how to assemble the book. So fold in the two outer edges on the left and the right, like this, and then fold in the corners to make little triangles, like this here. You want to do that on all 4 corners. And then fold in the top flap and the bottom flap. I'm just going to add a little bit of the glue runner here so it can stick down. And if you crease these first of all with the bone folder, it'll make sure that it folds over nice and neatly without causing any wrinkles in the paper. And if we stick this one down like this as well. Now if you use a wet glue like Aleen's tacky glue, you'll get in all those little bits here and stick it down securely. So before we move on to the next step, take your bone folder and ruler and just crease along where that gap is in between your 3 pieces of chipboard. So that is the cover made. We just need to assemble it now. So let's take our pages with the spine, and it'll fit in like this. Now, next step is to punch holes into the cover, and we'll use this page as a guideline. So line up the crease like with the gap in between the 2 pieces of chipboard. Take a pencil and just do a little mark so we know where to punch the holes, and this means that we can push the ribbon through the hardback cover and through the whole spine, helping to hold the whole thing together. Now, normally I'd use a crocodile, but it won't fit in the whole way, so I'm using my silent setter to punch these holes. So now that's that part done, we need to stick this to the cover, stick it all together. Now, in part 1 I suggested that you leave 3 of these panels free, and all you want to do is line up the holes, because you've got a hole here and also the hole in the cover. You can just use 1 panel like this. However, I find that that's a lot. The pages will create a lot of weight for just a small piece of paper, so I choose to do the 3 panels. That will make your book a lot more sturdy, and especially when it is quite a thick book, that's something that's quite important. So I'm using double-sided sticky tape to stick that down in place. And once we have this in place, then we will just cover the top of it with a piece of pattern paper or cardstock, which is slightly smaller than the chipboard piece. I'll show you what I mean when we stick down the back panel. So next step is to put the ribbon or a thread through the holes, and that will actually keep the whole spine together. So let's move on to that now. I'm using twine for this, just garden twine, and you'll see with my photo I've actually used ribbon, and I've only assembled or attached the front part, and now I'm actually going to put through the thread. And this makes it easier, because if you actually attach the back page to the back of the book, it'll be a lot more difficult. Now my thread has started to fray, so I'm taking a little piece of tape and wrapping it round the string like this, and then I'm just going to cut off the excess here and snip off the top, and this means I've actually got a bit of a point, and it'll be much easier to push through the holes. Now that's a trick that you can use with ribbon, with string, or with twine like I'm using here, and it makes it much easier, and in actual fact you waste less ribbon as well. So I'm just pushing it through each of the holes on the spine, and in this example I've got 2 holes in the spine, but on the photo I've got 3. It doesn't matter. So what you would do is you need to make sure that you push that through the end, but before we put it through the last panel and the back, we want to, like I say, cut a piece of cardboard or paper that will cover up all those joins. So stick that down like this, and then put on the back panel. Now I recommend that you put through both the top and the bottom pieces of twine before you adhere the spine to the back panel, but I'm just showing you how to make it. So now as I pull that string through, it'll actually bring the spine together and up against this back piece of the chipboard. All your pages will be intact, and all you need to do then is tie a bow behind the spine and decorate your book, and that is it. So this is the original book that I made. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful, and be sure to visit hungryhealthycrafts.com for more tips, techniques and inspiration.